Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. So today we have a very interesting recipe. Today we are cooking omena. Some people call it the small fish, but I call it omena. So today we are frying some omena and we'll have it with ugali. So basically what you need is to get your omena from wherever you normally buy from. Wash it in hot water with some salt and vinegar. If you don't have vinegar, you can use some lemon. So after washing your omena, then you go ahead straight to deep frying. You can put more oil so that the omena are submerged in the oil. That is one method of doing it. Or you can just do the way I'm doing, just a little oil in the pan, then put your omena and spread it out and let it fry on one side. Once it's done, then you flip it over. So cooking omena has different many methods, but this is the one I commonly use because it's simple and easier, and it takes less time. So what I normally do after spreading my omena on the pan, I sprinkle some salt and let it fry away. So while it's frying, I prepare the onions, the tomatoes, and every other ingredients or vegetables that I want to put inside there. So right now we're just going to let it fry on medium heat. You don't want to do high heat because then it will burn without cooking properly, or it will turn smoky and bitter. So after frying for a few minutes before turning, I usually go in with the onions. I like putting onions at this stage because then when I'm frying and now turning everything over, by the time the omena is ready, the onions shall have cooked and turned golden brown. So it's easier this way, and plus the omena will sip in the onion juices and combine well. Oh, but if you like, you can also do the other method of deep frying the omena first, then fry the onions on the pan and add tomatoes and blend it together, then add the omena later. But as I said, this is the method that I prefer using. So while frying, you can keep on adding oil kidogo kidogo. If you see the pan is drying before the omena is cooked, unaongeza mafuta kidogo kidogo as you turn. Yeah, you see now the part ilikuwa chini has started turning golden brown. So we are going to keep on turning and let it fry, turning and let it fry for a few minutes, and we keep turning until the omena is crunchy and a bit brown. You will see that in this process of cooking, when we started, the omena was had a silvery appearance, but by the time we'll be done, you will see that the color has changed to brown. I don't want to say golden brown because it's not that, but a bit brownish and crunchy. That's when you know your omena is well cooked or properly fried before you put the tomatoes now. Okay, so at this point we're going to keep on frying, and as we fry, let me give you some few tips you can use to, or some things you should know when it comes to cooking omena or frying omena. Tip number 1, never use a wooden spoon or a mwiko when frying omena. It bonda and your omena will end up, it's so broken, the heads are everywhere, the body, the tails. So the best thing, use a metallic spoon or a silicone spoon like the one I'm using. You will end up with whole omena, not the head separate from the body. Yeah, another tip I share is when you wash your omena and you pour the water in your kitchen sink, make sure you follow it immediately with hot soapy water. If you have some disinfectant, you add it, because ukimwaga hiyo maji kwa sink na uiache hivyo, trust me, you will not stay in that house. Okay, so immediately umemwaga hiyo maji kwa sink, follow it with hot soapy water. It will itamaliza hiyo harufu ya hiyo omena, otherwise your house will be smelling like fisherman's boat. So another tip I usually use is to add mafuta kidogo kidogo as you go, because if you choose to go the deep frying way where unaweka mafuta kwa pan and then dump the omena and deep fry, after deep frying the omena you will have some leftover oil. That oil you cannot use it to cook anything else kama si omena, so that will be like a waste, because I don't think there's anyone who anakula omena every day, or maybe most people maybe once in a week, once after 2 weeks. So if you deep fry and you have a lot of leftover oil, either if you can keep it for 2 weeks to use it for the next cooking session, then fine. I don't know if it will be fine by then, but that oil you cannot use it to cook anything else, otherwise everything will smell omena. So that's why I prefer using this method, kuongeza mafuta kidogo kidogo as you cook, to ensure kuna mafuta itabaki ati unamwaga or use for something else. So as you can see now, our omena is changed its color, still not fully done, but it's coming around. And at this point is where I like to go in with some hoho, and maybe if you are a pilipili guy, you can add pilipili at this point, or any other spice that you want. But I usually love adding my hoho at this point, because I don't want them to overcook. I like it when you're chewing and it gives that crunchy feel. So you can add your hoho at this point and keep stirring, keep mixing everything. Remember, we are still not the omena is not still fully cooked, but at this point it's now ready for the tomatoes. Now if you don't like the hassle of waiting for the tomatoes to blanch or to soften and mash them, you can skip the raw tomatoes and do tomato paste. Still fine. Or you can blend the tomatoes, but blending I really don't recommend that, because you will end up with a lot of water, which is going to make your omena soggy, which we don't want. So I usually prefer just enda kwa soko, look for the overripe tomatoes, because then it will be easier to mash them ama kuzifry. Then I like putting my omena, pushing it to the side of the pan, mwaga the tomatoes, then cover the tomatoes with the omena. Remember, at this point the omena has already fried to the point we want it. We don't want it to keep on cooking because it will get burnt. So that's why I put it on top of the tomatoes, so that it doesn't cook but the tomatoes cook. If you like washing dishes, you can put the omena on a different plate, put it aside, then saute the tomatoes until they are soft, then bring back the omena. But I don't like washing dishes, plus I don't like the hassle, so that's why I do this. So at this point we're just going to let it fry for a few minutes until the tomatoes are soft, and then we are going to combine everything together as we try to mash any left tomatoes that is still hard. Okay, yeah. So another tip when it comes to cooking omena, whenever you are deep frying your omena or you are going the frying way, make sure by the time you are adding the tomatoes, your omena is no longer has the silvery appearance. You know, when the omena is still uncooked, it appears silvery, shiny, silvery, whatever. But to know if it's totally cooked, the silvery appearance or effect will totally disappear. Like you can see now, it's no longer looking silvery, except it's looking brownish, and if you taste it, it's crunchy and not soggy, or not I don't know the word in English. In Luo we say manwang. It's not manwang. It's it's a bit crunchy and brownish in color. Okay, that's when you know your omena is well fried, and now you can go in with your tomatoes. If you want to have a little bit of some soup, you can add your cooking cream, your milk, or mix your cornstarch in some little water and add it and get that thick cream or thick soup at the end. But for me, I'm just going to keep on stirring and make sure everything is well combined, everything is well mixed, and then I'm going to put aside a portion aside, because my husband doesn't like when it's soggy. So I'm going to put a portion aside, then leave some portion for the kids, and add some cornstarch to make some little soup so that it's easier for them kukula. So at this point you can see that omena is really salivating. Imeiva vizuri, it's crunchy, haina harufu ya raw omena, it's not bitter, it's just perfect. Also, if you are extra or if you like drama, you can add some vinegar at this point to give it a little bit of that sour taste, but kama utaki ni sawa. If you want spices, ongeza. As for me, I like spices, but when I'm frying omena, I don't like to put any spices except Royco maybe. Yeah, so that's how you do it. So at this point, I'm putting omena aside again. I'm adding Royco. Hiyo ni Royco nimemix na maji. So I'm just putting the omena aside. I don't want to pour it direct onto the omena, because again, as I said, we don't want our omena to be soggy. We still want it to be a little bit crunchy, just tasty and sweet. So I'm putting it aside, pouring my Royco. Let that Royco mixture simmer a little bit before I mix it into the omena. Okay, as you know, Royco has a weird taste kama haijaiva vizuri, so that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm letting it simmer kidogo on the side of the pan. Then ikisha change the color, now I mix in everything, and as you can see, inaleta kuleta, it's sweet. And now I'm just going to divide a portion for my husband and myself, and then leave some for the kids. Alafu niongeze hiyo cornstarch mixture yenye nilikuwa nawaambia. Okay, yeah, so frying omena ni rahisi. There are lots of methods of frying omena, different ways of cooking omena, and everyone has their method that works for them. But mimi, I like using this one. It's easier, it's simple. Every time the omena comes out delicious, and it's hassle free. So at this point, nimeongeza the cornstarch mixture. I just want some little soup for the kids, ndio wapate kitu ya kukula na ugali. Plus also let me know in the comment section, if you have kids, do your kids eat omena hassle free ama wanaletanga drama? Because my younger son, ye ukula everything, but my daughter, that girl is drama. Yeah, but at the end of the day, lazima kila mtu akule ile kitu nimepika. So yeah, so we are going to let that cornstarch mixture simmer kidogo, just a few, let's say 2 to 3 minutes, and then we are all done. And then we can eat. So as you can see, that soup is thick and just the right consistency, and the menace is not drowning or anything. And ladies and gentlemen, look at that. So that is our final product. That is the final omena, how it looks. And this thing is sweet. Kwanza ukijaribu kukula omena fry hivi saa 7, I'm telling you, you will sleep. Utalala dia utajioa. As you can see, ilikuwa tamu. It is moist, not too dry, just the right amount of crunchy, and the hohos are still green and crunchy as well.